Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Indeed, it has been mentioned that some of the great Muslims that passed before us were affected by the Quran so much that they died. This is the story of Ali bin Fudayl bin Iyad. He was the son of a well-known scholar, Fudayl bin Iyad, and it was said about him that he was one of the great walis of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It was indeed narrated on Sufyan al-Thawri that he was known for his taqwa. To give you a picture of how gentle and fragile this person's heart was, there were narrations about him even outside of this great well-known incident. Indeed, al-Dhahabi had said that Ibn Mubarak one time had been speaking to Fudayl, his father, and Fudayl had said, "What a great time to cut oneself off and dedicate to Allah." And upon hearing this, Ali, the son, collapsed. Simply by hearing this reminder of his father, he was scared in that moment to not be one of the ones who would dedicate their lives to Allah. It was also relayed that Sufyan bin Uyayna, who was one of the muhaddith and both a teacher and student of Fudayl, that they were relating hadith, which in them there was a reminder of the fire. And so Ali gasped a deep breath and fell out. They turned and said, "If I had known that he were here, I wouldn't have given hadith about the fire." And Ali thus remained unconscious, laying there for a period of time. Indeed, it was his father who was an imam of the people at that time. And if he prayed, knowing that his son was praying behind him, then he would avoid ayat, mentioning nar. This was because he knew how his son was. He knew of his zuhud and taqwa. And his recitation of the Qur'an was also said to be magnificent. So he would not focus so deeply and profoundly on certain ayat, knowing that could affect his son. But when he did recite the Quran, it was known that his mood could change, become sad or happy, depending on the nature of the ayat. Thus, if he was behind him, Ali, he wouldn't read certain ayat, knowing that his son's heart was gentle and could be seriously affected by the recitation. One time, however, he thought that his son wasn't present in the masjid. Having most likely looked around to check for his son's presence and not finding him, he began the salah. In it, he read the statement of Allah,
قالوا ربنا غلبت علينا شقوتنا وكنا قوما ضالين.
and Ali collapsed into unconsciousness. When he realized that Ali was behind him and had fallen, he sped up his recitation of the ayat. So the people went to Ali's mother and said to her, "Get to Ali." She came and sprayed water on him, and he thus came to. Upon waking up, his mother looked at Fudayl, his father, and said, "You were going to kill this young boy." So this was the nature of Ali. Even by simple reminders of the fire, or specifically when hearing ayat talking about the punishment of those who do wrong, it was easy for him to fall out into unconsciousness and collapse. It was said that after a period of time, upon these events having happened, that they returned back to their norm. And once again his father, Fudayl, made the same error. He believed that Ali wasn't behind him, and upon entering the salah, he read the statement of Allah,
وبدا لهم من الله ما لم يكونوا يحتسبون.
This ayat was known of the previous Muslims to have deep meaning. It's an ayat that suggests that there will be things a person who has done in this life that he had not given care to, that he had not taken account to in this dunya, that perhaps will be shown in front of him on the day of Qiyam. Perhaps it will be believed that they will be raised high in righteous deeds because of their many actions, that their scales will be high. But upon reaching Yawm al-Qiyamah, they find that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala did not accept one thing of their actions. Perhaps because their niyyah, it was not pure and solely for the sake of Allah. And because of their niyyah, Allah commanded the angels to not write those deeds that the person had done down. And of course, this ayah is specifically spelling out a warning to the people to not take your good deeds for granted. In its entirety, it's of course talking about those who oppress their own souls with their sins and disobedience. So it was the well-known ayah reflected upon by many Muslims. And it was upon hearing this ayat, dramatically recited and beautifully performed by Fudayl, this ayat of great warning, suggesting a lack of good deeds and leading to punishment, that overtook Ali that day. This time, he collapsed into unconsciousness and died.